Hi, welcome to Journey to Salvation. I'm your host, Arlene Polite, and today my guest is Dhakim McLean. Hi, Dhakim, how you doing today?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. And y'all, this is another one of my cousins. Yes, I told y'all I got 20,000.
Yeah.
And Dhakim, it is so nice to have you today, and I'm so inspired by the little that I know about you. And I've known you all my life, but of course, because we don't live in the same home, we don't really know what goes on in each other's lives. So your testimony, it's your voice, it's your truth, and so we're looking forward to hearing from you today. So my first question is, Dhakim, why did you start your journey to salvation?
Well, my journey to salvation, first off, I was born and raised in the church. My mother had a saying, me and my house will serve the Lord. So I didn't even I had to serve the Lord. And ever since I've been young and knowledge, I've been serving the Lord.
Okay. So and were you active in the church and stuff like that?
Yes, I was active in the church. I wanted to play drums. At the time I was young, so you had a list of drummers older in the teen and adult bracket that was head first. So yeah, I'll have to play like after service, but drums was my passion and has always been my passion, music.
I know, and you're good at it for the little I've heard.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any time that at what point, of course we my story is so much started just like yours. We grew up in a church, but and we went along as children. We just go along with the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At what point did you say, you know what, this thing is getting real? I want to know God for myself for real. At what point did you decide that?
Well, I actually have an experience. So I was about 9 years old, and we used to do weekly convocations. I think if you remember that. And
Yes.
one Thursday night, the spirit was so high in the church, and I just wanted to be a drummer. I didn't want to be feeling the spirit. I just wanted to play the drums, make people dance. But it's like it took over me, and it was nothing I could do. I was just like saying, "Praise the Lord, hallelujah," lifting my hands. I remember like I had to get up and I just felt this power just come over me. And that's when I knew it was like, I gotta know this for myself. Like I have to go deeper in this walk with God.
How old were you then? About what age?
I was about like 9 years old.
Oh, still 9. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So did you understand what was going on, or was it explained to you afterwards?
Right. It was explained, I explained it to my mom how I felt and what was going on. And it was, she broke it down to me, how the Holy Spirit came on me and how, God want to move in my life. And, I need to surrender my whole all to God and walk that Christian walk.
And did you do just that? Was it like smooth? Did you?
It
what
was
happened after that?
At that time it was hard because you're in junior high school. All the kids got their things they going on, like nobody trying to listen to the safe kid. So it was complicated. It was complicated, but I embraced that presence so much that it was like I'm willing to choose God over my friends at the time. So
Wow. Okay, so how about like when you get to your teen? That's when you got. Well, when you were in was it junior high? That's
that's like middle school.
Teenager, of course.
Yeah.
So did you continue in the church, or did you give up? What was your decision at that point, or during that time?
Yeah, so during that time, after a while, I ended up getting caught up like in the worldly things, and it was like, I wanted to do what my friends wanted to do. I wanted to be a part. I felt left out after a while. So I kind of like put God on the back burner and was just honestly living my life. I would hang out with my friends, do things that we shouldn't have business doing. I actually had my first kid at a young age. So I became a dad at the age of 15.
Okay.
And it was always that void that was in my heart. And it was because I'm like, I want to serve God, but I still want to live the life I want to live. And it was just a complication between the both. Like, do I surrender my all, or do I just like play half in, half out? And it became a thing. Like, so on Sundays, it was about God. In the week, it was about Dhakim and how Dhakim felt and living Dhakim's life.
Oh, wow. Did you stop going to church also totally? Or did you stop praying?
The praying part, I kind of slowed down on. I kept going to church because I was actually one of the drummers in the church. So like, with the
drum kept you there.
Yeah. So, musicians is a little bit harder because if you actually still playing in the church, you're there almost every Sunday. But you could physically be there, but not mentally be there.
Yeah.
So that was a thing. Yeah, it was like, let me come play and get out of there. There was nothing to it. So
wow. So when you having a child at 15, what was that like for you? What direction, what steps, what decision did you make?
It was rough. It was rough bringing it to my mom. And it was rough. I felt very convicted. I felt, I let down God, because, I was taught like, basically you get married, then you have your kids. And, when I had my child, I was like, how can God let me have a kid and I'm not married yet?
You thought God was doing it.
God, how did this happen? And, at one point I end up kind of just really hating God, like honestly, because it's like, how can you put me in this predicament? And like I wanted to obey your commands, get married, have the kids, and live this big happy family. But for my situation, it didn't turn out that way.
So at that age, you felt that God knew your heart, that you wanted to serve Him, right. And He's the one that should help you to control this body He has given you. Yeah. Because after all, these feelings are natural. You didn't make yourself feel all these things. Yeah, it can be very rough as a teenager, because I've went through all of that, and so many people, and Dhakim, a lot of people have hated themselves, blamed themselves, because they thought that, man, I should have been doing better. Right. Why is it that I can't? And we get into this depression, and we beat on ourselves, and because we don't understand. 15, you're still developing, you're still growing. Yeah. Things that you don't even understand. You're learning how to control this body God has given us. Right. Mm-hmm. And so and I understand, rightfully so, you're gonna feel that way because right from wrong, and some of what God requires. So in your mind, you're sorting it out. Like, okay, this ain't right, but it's happening. Right. Okay, so after you have your first child, did you introduce your child to God or to the drums, or what was that about?
Yeah, I did introduce my child to God. She was Christian. I took her to church every day. My mom also made sure she was in church every day.
Yeah, I love your mom. I want you to know that. Yeah. She don't play.
Yeah, she don't play.
She play when it comes to God. You hear me?
She doesn't. Yeah, she stand by her in her house to serve the Lord. And so definitely, I definitely, I had her in church as much as I can. When I did have her, her mother didn't go to church every day, but she tried to go to church as much as she can. But when she was with us, I try to make sure I implement God and make her know who God is. She actually loves the church and she loves going to church even now. So I'm
Yeah.
grateful and thankful for that.
That's awesome. So, no, with your story and everything, what did you, as your child got older, did you share any of your story with your child or your, how many children do you have now?
I currently have 4 of them.
Okay. When your children got old enough, did you share your story, at least some of it, or how did you guide them? Because I know you become protective, especially for your girls, right?
Yeah.
So what did you share with them? How do you show them who you are more than just father or dad?
I definitely show them the raw. Like, I'm a dad that I don't hold back. I'm 100% truthful. I tell them the facts and the truth of life. Like, when you put yourself out there, things will happen. I had, children I explained to them, like, I had you at a young age. I was only 15 years old. I barely knew myself or how to even become a dad. And, in the absence of my dad, I didn't really know how to be a dad, So through the walk with God, he helped me, to become a great father, to the father I am today. So
Wow.
even during the midst of my sins, God, he forgave me and he walked the walk with me. So even when I felt like he doubted me, he didn't. He was still there. So
wow. And is that a big difference from the way you grew up, like open? Were your parents open to you about, or being real to you about life?
Yeah, my mom was very open about, life and what can happen. But honestly, I was a rebellious child. You told me no, I
I want to do me.
I was one of those kids. Like, you couldn't tell me no. If you said no, I was like, no, okay, that means yes. So I'm gonna do it.
I think a lot of us heard that growing up.
Right.
So, same thing. Yeah.
So I was a risk taker. I take a lot of risks in life. It's just a theory for me. Like, I feel like if you take the risk, you'll find out what happens or what comes behind it. It's not the best solution, but it's the way that I was. And things I could have did a little bit better, but God had his plan for me. So
yes,
that's the way it turned out.
Do you regret anything? Do you oh my God, I wish I never?
No, I don't regret it. I don't regret anything that I went through or anything God allowed me to go through.
Wow.
Because it made me the man that I am today. Like,
there you go.
There was times where, at a teenager, I joined the gang. I was in a blood gang.
You serious?
Yeah. I have some dark places I went in my life, and only God could take me out of those dark places. I have robbed from places. I was sleeping around, just honestly living in that sinful life, just indulging, the world of the land and just living how I wanted to live. What made Dhakim happy for that time, I was doing.
So what do you think led you there? Why did you need a gang? In other words, why do you feel that you needed that path and not another?
I felt lonely. From a teenager, I always knew I was different. I always didn't
different. Not how?
I didn't fit in the crowd. Like, it wasn't like, I was a leader, but I didn't always fit in the crowd. So what everybody else was doing, they pretty much counted me out, or, they'd be like, nah, you don't need to be involved with this. And I'd be like, wow, like, I want to do it. Like, you doing it, I want to do it too. And I felt like joining a gang would make me apart, supposed to be a brotherhood. you know, I'll be around all the guys that I always wanted to be around. But then, you know, it wasn't for me. You know, it's not what God desired. Like, I remember times when, you know, God took me out of a lot of situations, like bad situations that, you know, I wouldn't be here to share my story with. I remember a time when, you know, I just joined the gang. We was hanging out on the block. Everybody's enjoying their time. And it was probably like a little bit after 11. And the next thing we know, it's gunfire. You know, we running and dodging bullets. So, you know, by the grace of God, I made it out of that situation. Yeah.
This is a great testimony. And I'm so glad you have. This is your first time telling your testimony?
Openly, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. This is awesome. So the thing is, what I want, because there are people, you're not by yourself. So many of us have turned different ways, and it's all about searching. And you said you felt, was it lonely or alone?
I felt lonely, like both, honestly.
Okay, but why did you feel that way? What is it that you were desiring, that you wanted to, you know, what was it that you were really feeling that brought that feeling on, I should say? What brought that feeling on?
I don't know if it was like the absence of my dad. You know, you know, being young and then being convicted by the church about having a kid at the young age. So that was another thing too. You know, everybody, you know, kind of turned their nose on me when I, you know, he's young, he's having a kid out of wedlock, and you know, it's not right, and pretty much not honestly being able to play the drums as much. So those things played a part as well.
So did anyone have a conversation with you in the church? Did you have a support group in the church or anything like that? Or I know your mom was there for you, but who else were supporting you, like being there for you to help you?
At that time we ended up going to Holy Ghost Pentecostal Faith Church, which was in Harlem. No, I don't feel like nobody was like support of it, but they wasn't like badging me too much about it. But you could, you know, there was times people had brought it to my attention, like, you know, that's not of God, like, you know, you should have never did that, and like, you know, like you could go to hell for it. So, you know, it was more of a fear thing, like, you know, like I really committed a bad situation, like, you know, I got honestly to hell for this situation for eternity, you know. So I was young.
Oh, wow.
Like the gist of, you know, honestly committing a sin, and how God died for our sins, and you know how I could have just, you know, repent and really ask God for forgiveness and try to do better. So,
wow, you know, it saddens me about how we handle situations, not just in the church, at home, wherever. Because I think we're all coming from a place where we all have to learn life. We don't have a handbook. We all have to learn. We all learn on different levels, different times, or whatever. And to bring you to a place of judgment, like, you know, God is the only one that can bring you to that place of judgment. You go to hell, right?
Yeah.
And or put that, place that on you at the age of 15.
It's a scary place to be.
that is scary. Like, okay, you're hearing all these things, like, okay, that is gonna cause you to act not in a good way.
Correct.
That is frightening, and it's not a good way to give advice. To tell somebody, oh, because you have a baby, you're going to hell, or because you lie, you're going to hell. I don't think, you know, that is just not a healthy way to speak to anyone, especially a child or a teenager, because you're growing, you're developing, and what you need is help, good guidance, and wisdom. And not everybody have wisdom, you know. So, but I'm so glad that God kept you, man. I am so glad. Because those things can drive you far away from God, and that's what it does.
Yes.
You know. So, okay, so those things caused you to, it brought on feelings of discouragement, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And like I always say, I wanted good, but for some reason I couldn't do, for some reason I wasn't doing right. You know? I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? I want good, but I just couldn't get there.
Right.
Struggle. And however, so at what point, after you going through all of that, being in the gang, and did you speak to anyone of, are you still in contact with those people in the gang, or like, you know, to give a word of wisdom or stuff like that?
Yeah, some of them are a couple of, well, 3 of them that I still associate with now is actually out of the gang. So some of us end up like walking away, you know, as we became older and more wiser, and realized, you know, that wasn't the life for us, you know, especially growing up in New York and in the South Bronx. You know, it was like you see a lot of your associates, you know, passing away from either gun violence, drugs, or gang related violence. So, you know, some of us was like, you know, I'm not ready to go. Like, you know, I don't think it's my time to go. And you know, they say you live by the gang, you die by the gang. It's a saying, but it's not always true. And, you know, we honestly went to them, you know, I honestly went to them and just was like, listen, this is not for me. Like, this is not going to work. You know, as better in me, and, you know, I'm out. And it was nothing to it. I end up walking away from it. Some of them I didn't speak to. The couple that I did speak to, you know, like I said, they end up getting married, have families, good careers now.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, some of them did walk away from it. A friend of mine's named Carl, he actually is an organist in the church now.
Man, that's awesome. And you were the leader?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. But somewhat you were leading.
Yeah.
Man, but when you decide to, at least at what age did you decide to step back away from it?
I was about 17. Yeah, I was about 17. Yeah, because I was still in high school, so I was about 17 when
that's awesome. You were able to step away at that age.
Yeah, I was.
Because teenage years ain't easy.
No, it's not. It's complicated.
Oh my God, it's not always easy during teenage years. So when you decide that you lost some friends and you still kept some.
Yeah. I lost quite a few friends, you know. I kept the ones that I was really close to, that can relate, that, you know, it was, and honestly, a lot of guys that was in the gang was brought up in the church. You know,
they felt the way you did.
So a lot of them was brought up in the church. They knew the right from the wrong. But, you know, like I said, growing up in New York, it puts you in that mentality, like, either you serve God or you pretty much with your brothers on the street, you know. So, you know, at that time, I had to make a decision, like, what I'm going to do. And at that time, I ended up going to another church called Bright Light Church of God in Christ. I ended up going, you know, and, you know, I honestly just told the pastor, like, listen, I'm in the gang. I grew up in the church, and giving him my life story. And he said, it's okay. Like, you know, I was shocked, like, you sure? And he was like, no, it's okay. He's like, you know why? Because God is going to carry you out that situation. I don't even have to do anything. He's going to deal with it. So you good. Just keep coming to church every Sunday. Keep trying to live right, and he's going to bring you out. And that's when I knew, like, you know what? I got to get out of it.
Don't make me start crying. I will cry on this thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pastor Highsmith from Brooklyn, New York. Yeah. So.
You know, it is so important to, my thing right now, I don't like to see people being used and being abused and misused. It really bothers me. And to hear you saying a pastor did this, it's a big thing for me, because I've met crooked leaders, okay? And I've met good ones, and I give God praise for the good ones. So big up to that pastor. Big up to the pastors that's doing this thing, man, and doing it right. Okay? And for that pastor to say it's okay, man.
Yeah, that took me by storm. It took me by storm.
Because all it takes is love. Just love. People that's been out there, they're searching. People are searching. It doesn't matter what's going on. They are searching for love, for someone to say, I care. And when that pastor said that to you, he said, I care for you. I know it said a whole lot of stuff to you.
It moved me, you know, and you know, I broke down, you know, it really, it shifted my life real in a different way, like in a total different way. You know, even, you know, explaining to him the absence of my dad, you know, I end up calling him dad. You know, he was my spiritual father.
Wow.
You know, how I didn't grow up with my dad, you know, how I really honestly wanted to grow up with a dad. You know, it was things I went through that I didn't have a male figure to go through. You know, it was just my mom and then my aunt. You know, they was my biggest support system. You know, my mom never gave up on me. When people doubted me, she always said that I have a purpose and I have a calling, you know, and to today, she always encouraged me every single day to keep pushing and keep going on. And, you know, how I came a long way, you know, I came a really, really long way. So I'm, you know, grateful to God, and I'm grateful that God never gave up on me, you know, through all my sins and transgressions. He's always been by my side, you know, blessed me over and over, even in the midst of my sins, you know, allowing me to get the career that I have now, blessing my kids, looking after me, you know. So shout out to me too.
I'm really trying hard to hold back the tears. It is such a wonderful thing. You didn't have both parents, but you had that one parent that didn't give up.
Yeah.
And I can say the same thing for me. I mean, I always thank God for that one parent.
Yes.
That kept pulling us to church.
Yes.
Pushing us and telling us how good God. I'm telling you, there's something about the McLeod and Dino generation, man.
Yeah.
I thank God for where I'm coming from. And I'm so thankful again for Georgia McLean. I am so thankful because, you know, I felt the Lord put me on this path that came to do testimonies, because in church we used to say, thank God the Lord saved me. I'm on my way to glory. Pray for me in Jesus' name.
Yeah, that was the beautiful one.
That was a testimony. You hear me?
Yes.
So when I'm doing my dirt, or when I'm caught up in my feelings, I come in, I say, thank God for Jesus, because I don't hear anybody talk about anything else. All I know, I have to be like them, and that's what they're doing. So, you know, and this is so real. This platform, I know that the devil don't like it. I know that it's a powerful platform, because we're hearing real testimony. How the Lord has brought me over, how he has brought me through. How when I was down on my face, he was light to me. And so I'm so excited. These testimonies has been so powerful, and I really appreciate you coming on and doing this.
Yes.
Because your life has been changed forever.
Yeah.
And you're saying it wasn't just you, it wasn't you, it was God.
Yeah.
God did it. So this church that you were in, such a wonderful support. Tell me what you did in there, or you know, what was it like?
So I've always been a musician all my life. I played for big, small, little churches. So that's what I always did. When I first came there, I played a little bit, but then, you know, I just was like, you know what? I want to be a member. I want to sit in the audience. I want to get fed the word like everyone else is. I don't want to be a musician. I want to be vulnerable to God, and I want to be vulnerable for myself to learn and understand Him more. So, I just became a regular member, a dedicated member, Sundays, Wednesdays, Bible study.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, it definitely changed my life. I'll end up learning God more for myself than before, So I end up building a actual relationship with God. And at that particular church, we wasn't taught, it don't take for you to be carrying on, jumping on your knees all over the place. Sometimes I'm in my bed, I'm like, listen, God, I'm not feeling today. Like, I need your help. Like, help me.
Come on.
I'm having a bad day. I need you to fix this situation. So, honestly, just building that relationship. And I'm thankful for that I'm able to build that relationship. And I don't got to feel convicted, because I had a bad day, or, I sinned today, or, anything else. Is like, I can honestly go to Him. He's our Father, and
Yes.
He's able to speak and communicate to Him. Just like if your natural dad is here, if you have a situation, go to Him. So, that's our Father. So, I go to Him every day. Some days that is not great, and I just be like, Lord, I need you to fix it. So I'm grateful for that connection.
Yes. Man, I'm so glad you know for yourself. Because we live in a world where people are vicious.
Yeah, you better get to know.
Wow. Because people sometimes say, I don't know how to pray. Well, what do I say? But it's so simple. It's just like talk. You just talk. Just like you say, God, I don't feel good today.
Yeah.
That's a prayer.
Yeah, it is. Like, I joke with my mom. Sometimes we'll text and I'm like, Mom, where you been? She's like, I'm praying. And I'm like, did you tell God? I said, what's up? But I was telling a friend about that, and I said, seriously, people joke at it, but you honestly could, if that's how you know how to pray, like, what's up? Like, talk to me, and God honors that. People say He doesn't, but He honors that. He honors your sincerity. He honors your truth. Yeah, so
it's the heart.
Yeah, it's the heart. Yeah.
Because I remember when I was in depression, and when I cried, and I said, God, why did you even bother with me? God said, I saw your heart. Ain't nothing I was doing right, Dhakim. And it's not because I was this, that. God said, I saw your heart. Simply. Wow. Simple. And we beating ourselves because we don't understand that life is a process.
It is.
And then parents look at their children despicable, or adults look at young people despicable, like, how dare you, or
Right.
And I was brought up in a church where we were taught to do that, to look down on others, and to without, we're not even looking at ourselves.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, did you get it right all these years?
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of growing up as a young girl, a lot of adults weren't true. They weren't true to us. They didn't tell us the real.
Right.
And so they knew their situation, and they didn't share it. And yes, they looked down on us. And then we grew up and be adults, and we look down on the next generation behind us. And that cycle got to stop.
Yeah, it's a generational curse.
Yeah, that got to stop.
Yeah.
Because life is a process, and every one of us are entitled to that process.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not God, and we should not be pointing finger and tell some, like condemning. That's the word I've been. Yeah, we are so condemning.
Right.
And I don't know you, Dhakim. You're my cousin, but I don't know your life in a whole.
Correct.
Some of the things you're telling me now, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so for me to say, look at you, Dhakim, why this? That's wrong. That is so wrong of me to judge you, not knowing the full story.
Right.
And even if I know the full story, I don't know what God is doing in you. I don't know.
Right.
So I got to keep on top of myself daily, even ministering to others. I have to understand that, hey, God is in control of this.
Yes.
God knows his people inside and out. He created us. We don't know the full story. So it's important that's why the Bible said be patient with each other.
Right.
Yeah, as Christians, be patient, bear one another's burden. Understand, because we're all in the same boat. We all go through something that we need mercy.
Yeah.
And God says he gives us mercy. We need to have mercy on others. But anyway, this is not a preaching session. This is your testimony.
Watch it. You better watch it.
Let me tell you, I have an attitude in this thing. You hear me? But anyway, I love when you true leaders. I appreciate true leaders.
Yeah.
And we have a problem today in our society that we don't have great examples even in our country and stuff like that. But it's so good to find good leaders and embrace them, talk about them.
Yeah.
And so while you were in this, did you stay at this church until you moved to here?
Yeah. I stood there until I moved.
How many years you were at that church?
I was there probably about 5 years, a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of your children grew up in that church?
Yeah, especially my two daughters, they grew up in it. Yeah.
And they were involved in it too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They grew
What
up.
do they do? Do they sing? Do they like singing, or what do they like to do?
Yeah, my they like singing, and then they'll be with like the children's choir or children's take along. That's what they used to call it. So they was involved there.
And what is it at home? Do you talk to them about the word, praying, all that good stuff, teaching?
Yeah. I talk to them about the word, and then I feel like if we teach our children to build the relationship, it will go a long way. A lot of people, I feel like teach the kids the wrong way. I feel like if you, like I said, build that relationship, help them to build that relationship with God and watch him manifest in their life. Because that's what he wants. Once he's able to plant that relationship between you and him, he'll take it all the way. That's my belief.
Do they ask you a lot of questions and stuff like that?
Yeah, they ask a lot of questions. Where's he at? When he's gonna come see us? Are he coming for Christmas? One of my sons. And I say, yeah, it depends if you be good, he gonna come for Christmas. But I'm glad that they are okay to ask me those questions. I'm glad that they're willing to even learn, who he is. So
you ain't shutting them down when they ask questions like some people.
Yeah, I wouldn't shut them down because that's how we grew up a little bit, getting shut down for certain questions that you ask. And in God about certain things. Yeah. So.
Wow. I'm just loving this, Dhakim. I'm so glad that you have this opportunity and God ordained this, that you're able to tell your testimony. And I hope it goes far because you are a young Black man. And I know you face a lot of things right now. How do you feel as a Christian Black man? How do you feel, or what message do you have for others your age or others going through this time, this season? What is the message that you would give them right now?
The message I would give them is God is the only one. He is the beginning, the end. He's the Alpha, the Omega. He's the only one that could carry us out this situation. And sometimes God have a bigger plan that he allows certain things to happen. He never forgets about us. He's always there. He might not come when we want him, but he's there. He's there. And to just keep trying to walk in that race. Don't give up. Just because you felt today don't mean that he's not there tomorrow or he's not there after your failure. He's there for you. So
do you feel angry at times about what's going on?
Yeah, I feel angry, especially as a Black male, even with the situation that recently happened in Philly. It makes you feel angry because it could have been me. It's been plenty of times where I was stopped by law enforcement, even guns drawn by law enforcement, and by the grace of God, I'm here today. It's rough being a black male. They
So
look at me as a term.
you've been stopped in it, or
Yeah, I've been stopped many a times in New York, living in New York, especially in the South Bronx. You could go to a nice restaurant and they think that you're trying to walk on your bill, or it's been times where I'm in a store and I'm getting questioned if I'm purchasing anything, and I'm just trying to see the item that I want to buy. So you get targeted a lot. Yeah, as
wow.
a black male.
And they'll stop you because even for my husband, they stopped him because they say the windows were too dark, the tint on the car was too dark, and they charge him for it.
Yeah, I've been stopped for that. I was stopped because I remember one time I was pulled over. I had the Nissan Sentra, and I guess the hubcap. You know how sometimes you could crack the hubcap, and he said that it was a danger to the environment or something. I remember he pulled me over, and I was like, I never heard of that law before. And
wow.
then it went into, is there any drugs in the car, any guns in the car? So I'm like, oh, this guy, he's
wow.
certain. He's stuck, really, But they find ways, and it's hard for us because it's like if you want to see your family or you want to live for the next day, you try to just go along, even when you want to say certain things out your mouth and you what?
Sure.
Just shun. I'm gonna ask God to help me with the situation and then pull through it. So
I know you be praying all type of prayers during that time.
Yeah, because especially if you one of them people that like me, it's hard. Sometimes I want to tell them a piece of my mind. Like, listen, what's this for? But
because when you know your rights, and for someone to come against you for no reason at all, that would make anybody angry,
Yeah, it would.
And I feel so bad, and like you said, well, all we can do is pray, because we know God has all power. Yeah. And God sees. God is a God of justice. Yeah. And the Lord will take vengeance. He said, vengeance is mine, I will repay. And so once you trust God, you will always win.
Yes.
And the justice may not come right away, but it will come. Everybody will pay for what they do.
Yeah.
And I really want to encourage you and all black men to stand strong and stand strong in God, because I don't think the government this world will never do right. I don't think they'll ever do right. There's always somebody that can. There's always somebody that want to do the wrong thing.
Yes.
So we gotta just make sure that we walk in our purpose, and to make sure we do our part and stay focused.
Yeah.
Because it's always the plan of the enemy to get us down to their level. And so it's important to build your character, know who you are, and continue to trust God to do the rest. Know who you are. Allow God to lead you into standing, because He's given you some soldiers to raise. You're raising some kids that you got to stand for. You got to show them what it is to be strong. Strength is not in the gun. It's not in the knife. It's not in fist fighting. That's not strength. That's being a coward. That's being a coward. And fear. So a lot of people moving in fear right now. And but our power is in our God. Is it trusting God? Is in allowing God to move in us and through us.
Right.
And we always win. We always win. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, it's your testimony. So okay. Tell us some things you're doing right now to inspire other other black men or young people or people your age. Are you in your 20s or 30s?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Okay. So what are you doing right now to empower? Because I know your testimony is not just for you. God allows us to go through stuff, and when we become strong in that area, we teach, we help. So what are you doing with that?
So right now we have a detailing company called Triple D's. It's myself, my young brother, and my cousin. Um, it's not just a detailing company. Each customer that we get, we try to spread the word and share our testimony. Um, Let them know who God is. Sometimes we'll leave like a little message in their car of a scripture, and so that's like our little stamp and logo that we have going on. Also, just sharing the messages with coworkers. I work for public transportation of Orlando, which is Links, and just spreading the gospel to them and let them know, like, you don't have to go crazy to build that connection with God. Just be open and willing to know who He is, and He'll take it from there. So that's
wow. That's awesome. You're such a great blessing. And we need you. We need more like you to just to be true. You just being yourself. Don't you find don't you feel that freedom? That
yes.
It's an amazing freedom.
Yeah, it is. To just be, that's why, I'm not one of them Christians that's like so tied into the religion. I'm free with God. I'm about building that relationship, because that's what really counts. It's like, even with your spouse, it's the relationship that you guys build that continue the years and years, the connection, the communication. So that's how I feel like it should be with God. So
yeah, and your life. And I'm sure you have some people coming on that bus smiling. Some of them already know you, and your great personality is what shines, and that's coming from within. It's what's coming from within. You don't even have to say a word. You will glow. People will feel your energy, they call it.
Yeah.
They'll feel your spirit, man. It's when your spirit man is booming, people, they're just coming in your presence and they're like, oh, okay. They know what's up, And that's who God is. And God is a God of love, and I think a lot of people need love in this time. There's a lot of evil and crazy stuff going on, but I think us as children of God, we should be in God so much that we're showing more love than anything else. Yes. We are never going to be perfect. There are times that we may slip, not doing the wrong on purpose.
Right.
We may make mistake or whatever, but we should always, more than ever, reach out to God to be more like Him each day, And I wish you all the best in your business. Yes. And what's the name of your business again?
It's called Triple D's Auto Detail. And
where are you located? Actually, yes, where are you located?
We're located based out of the Orlando location. Orlando, Florida, and Pine Hills area.
And tell the people how they can find you on social media and stuff.
You can find us on Instagram at Triple D's Auto Detailing. Facebook is the same. Twitter is the same as well.
Okay, great. And what church are you in now? And what are you involved? Are you involved in the church, or are you more ministering outside?
I'm also ministering outside. I am I still go to church every Sunday, so I still attend High Dimension currently right now, or sometimes I go to Thai Tribute Church live. So that's what I'm doing as right now. And then I'm still on the drums, still playing the drums.
Man, which one of your kids is playing drums, loving the drums as you are now?
My two sons, they love it. Yeah. It feels good because it's like watching you grow up again. So
yeah. How old are your sons?
They're 4 and 3.
4 and 3. Oh, okay. Do they have drums at home? I know you don't have drums at home for them.
No, not yet. I've been not one. I didn't want to buy it because I know it's gonna be like an all night thing with them. But no.
Hey, but they have the silent. Don't they have drums that I think that you plug it in your ear or something like a silent drum?
Yeah, the pad drum, the silent drum. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet that's what you're gonna be getting if you get in it.
'Cause them boys, they make their own drums now with their toys. So
Yeah. Oh man, this is awesome. I appreciate you, Dhakim, coming on and giving this awesome testimony. I know somebody will be blessed by it. It has blessed me. Just like those other testimonies. Continue to be who you are. Continue to reach in God. Because there's no ending in God.
no.
So keep growing. Keep motivating those around you. Keep helping as much as God give you the platform. Step out in it. Be bold. Be strong in Him. Continue spending time in His presence, because God always have things for us to do. We are His voice on earth.
Yeah.
We are His hands. And so continue to be the example you are. Continue to be the big brother for someone. Continue to be the strong black man that others can see, just like how you were in that gang, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's amazing how God can turn things around. The same personality you had in that gang, He's using that same personality right now in the ministry.
Yes.
Yes, just like Paul in the Bible, God turned his life around. Paul was like, man, forget all the things I've gained. This is it. When he met Jesus, he put away everything. He was like, it's all God. And God turned his life around. So God has turned your life around.
Yes, He has.
And I love what He's doing. Like I said, I love what He's doing with George's kids, what He's doing in Georgia McLean's life, and what God is doing in her children's life. Because you guys, you got it. It's just that nurturing you need and that direction. Well, you are at the place already, but younger ones also. We just need that somebody that's going to say you can do it. And I love the fact that Georgia did that. And for the parents, stand behind your children. Speaking to the audience right now, stand behind your children. Help them and not talk down on them, because their life is a process and they have to go through their process. Don't be overprotective or over this. Take your time, because you went through and God brought you to where you are. God can do the same for them. It's your trust. It's your faith. It's your wisdom. It takes wisdom to win a soul. And so I pray that parents will take this message and understand it's love. Just love on your children and tell them they can do it. No matter where they are, they can do it. And I appreciate that message today. Anything else you'd like to, for those that don't know Christ, for those young men, young women, or anyone that don't know Christ, what message do you have for them right now, Dhakim?
The message I have for them that don't know Christ: find somebody that truly do, honestly do, and just get to know Him. Just get to know Him day by day. Don't rush it. God is not a person of rush. He's okay with taking His time with you. Just get to know Him. Who is God? Where do I start to get to know Him?
Yes.
What should I know? What should I do, or how can I communicate with Him? So I feel like that's a great place to start at. And, He would direct the rest. And I feel like that's our job, is to get them to know, okay, this is God. This is what He wants. He loves you. He cares for you. And God got the rest. He got the power. So He going to move. Yeah. So.
Man, thank you so much. Man, y'all, this is so exciting for me, and I pray that you got all our listeners, our audience, will really enjoy this and feel empowered, grow, know who you are, and trust the process. Dhakim, thank you so much for your awesome testimony. This has been Journey to Salvation. I'm your host, Arlene. Until next time, stay safe and stay strong in God, for those of you that know God. God bless you, and see you soon. Hi, thank you for watching Journey to Salvation, where people share their testimonies of faith. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please email us at info@arlenepoliteministries.com. Now, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Arlene Polite Ministries. Give me a like, and then share with your friends. Thanks again for watching Journey to Salvation.